Welcome students for the second session of History Chapter 2 from Trade to Territory. Hope you all are curious to learn more about Britishers. But before that, is everyone fine there? Yes, I know. You all must be taking good care of yourself. In last topic, we have learned how Britishers came to India as traders and set up their first factory in Hooghly. So let us learn what happened further in this session, starting with the topic Battle of Plassey. This battle between Sirajud-Dowla and Britishers was known as Battle of Plassey. It began in 1757. This was very famous battle because this battle was the first mark of Britishers to establish indirect rule over Bengal. Robert Clive cunningly used Mir Jafar to win this battle. Mir Jafar was commander of Nawab's army. Britishers offered Mir Jafar the king's position if they win battle. Under the greed of becoming king, Mir Jafar cheated and did not attend Sirajud-Dowla's army during the battle and they lost battle. After the battle, Mir Jafar was made Nawab of Bengal. Mir Jafar was puppet Nawab. He used to work as a pre as per the British's instruction. This was very beneficial for them because they obtained they obtained lots of permission from Mir Jafar. First was to free trade. Next, Britishers were given big piece of land for fortification. Since they had lot of land, they started making factories, warehouses and fortifications. But after some time, Mir Jafar realized that company had obtained too much of rights and because of which his kingdom was facing revenue loss. So he also turned against the company and said he won't give any further rights. This created war like situation between Britishers and Mir Jafar. As a result, they dethroned Mir Jafar and Mir Qasim was crowned to become new puppet Nawab. Again Britishers were trying to obtain unnecessary rights and concessions like duty-free trade, fortification, etc. Soon he also realized that company is asking for too many rights, which is not right, and he also turned against Britishers. Now this resulted in Battle of Buxar in 1764 between Mir Qasim and Britishers, and Britishers won the battle. Britishers made Mir Jafar the Nawab of Bengal again, and now they were asking for money worth rupees 5 lakhs per month to the company to meet company's expenses. Expenses incurred by the company were for wars with other companies, equipments, running factories, etc. Now, what happened? Mir Jafar died in 1764. Britishers were now fed up of puppet kings, so they decided to take the power in their own hands. In 1765, company acquired Diwani right of Bengal province. After acquiring the Diwani right, the big benefit happened to the company was they started getting lots of revenue. Now they don't have to be dependent upon Britain for money. They used to get money from Britain to manage their expenses in India, to buy products and sell them to European countries. But now, since they got the Diwani rights, they started getting lots of money in form of revenue, and they were no more dependent on Britain for money. Britishers had started living life of Nawabs. In 1772, there was a case in British Parliament. They suspected how Robert Clive had so much of money and property. Later, he got acquitted for this case. Later, in 1774, he committed suicide. After that, they decided to expand their rule. They wanted more provinces under their control, not just Bengal. They were not in mood of direct battle or control method. They used many political and economical methods for expansion. One of the method was appointing residents in Indian states. These residents were companies' political agents who used to interfere internal affairs, and they tried to manipulate the king and make them to issue policies which will be beneficial in the company for the company. As a result of this interference, one thing came into existence was subsidiary alliance. Subsidiary alliance was the concept coined by Lord Wesley. He was governor of Bengal in 1798 to 1805. He used this method. According to this, Indian rulers were not allowed to keep their own army. They were forced to use company's army and make huge payments as their salary. This payment was so huge the king were not able to pay it, and according to this method, the king was unable to pay the salary. He will be levied a fine by the company. And here is the strike. The fine was in form of territory. They said if the king was unable to pay the salary, they have to give away a part of territory as fine or penalty. In 1801, lot of territory from the king of Awadh was obtained in the form of penalty. Lot of territory was forcefully taken away from Hyderabad too. Let us learn if they were able to take away land from the southern India. There was a famous king in the region of Mysore called Tipu Sultan. He was called Tiger of Mysore. The story behind this title was that Tipu Sultan once fought with the tiger without any equipments or arms. He became king in 1782. He formed policies and rules which were against Britishers. He took control of the trade along the Malabar coast under him in 1785. He stopped all the export of sandalwood, pepper and cardamom and took direct control. It means all the import export of Malabar coast will only happen in Tipu Sultan if Tipu Sultan wanted it to happen. Next step was he asked local merchants to stop dealing with British company. On top of that, he tried that most of the deals to be done with the French companies. Also, he employed French in his army in order to modernize his army. East India Company had problems with these steps taken by Tipu Sultan. They wanted important commodities like sandalwood, spices, etc. to be allowed to them. Since Tipu Sultan was against them, Britishers wanted to suppress Tipu Sultan's power. They fought 4 wars between the period of 1767 to 1799. These wars were called Anglo-Mysore War. Result was the death of Tipu Sultan in 1799. Vodres were the new king. They were also imposed subsidiary alliance policy. Britishers took over the control of Malabar coast. Now they were able to import, export, and Vodris had to listen to them. Wodeyars. Sorry, the word is Wodeyars. Wodeyars. I repeat, the word Wodeyars is Wodeyars. Since slide 7, now after that they faced another problem. The problem was Marathas. They had to fight wars with Marathas. Who were Marathas? Marathas was a dynasty which were divided into many states. Amongst them there were Scindias, Gaikwads and Holkars. Let's understand Marathas. So these different dynasties, they were alliance under on Peshwa. Peshwa was principal or prime minister under which these dynasties used to work. The warlike situation rose as a result of Marathas' decision to control whole country. They decided to control the central administrative capital Delhi first, so that after that they will be able to control whole country. Since Britishers also had planned to expand their territory to whole India, this was obstacle to them. Marathas had already conquered Bengal, Mysore, etc. So to subdue their power, they had fought many wars against Marathas. This war was called Anglo-Maratha Wars. In 1803 to 1805, Second Anglo-Maratha War was fought. Marathas lost to Britishers and they had to give up Orissa and territories of Yamuna and Agra. Situation worsened, and in the Third Anglo-Maratha War in 1817 and 1818, Maratha power was subdued. As a result, the south of the Vindhya region also got under control of Britishers and they started trading from there too. Britishers did not stop there. Now they had plans to expand their territories and establish themselves as superpower of the country. Like Mughals, now Britishers were going to establish their supremacy over the whole country. East India Company under the governorship of Lord Hastings initiated a policy between 1813 to 1823 of supreme paramountcy, which means they have authority over the country now. Everyone needs to take their permission, since they feared the loss of their company if their supreme power is lost. So what they did was they tried to establish power over different small states of the country. Besides, they also feared that Russia, which was becoming stronger day might come and rule India. So in order to maintain their supremacy, they also started establishing themselves over northern regions. They fought wars with Afghanistan and overpowered it in 1842. They also controlled Punjab in 1849 after the death of Maharaja Ranjit Singh. In this process of annexure, they started ruling small states, but when they tried to conquer Kittur or Karnataka, they saw there was Queen Chennamma. She started anti-resistance movement against Britishers and started fighting wars against Britishers. She was arrested in 1824. Now company ruled over most of the parts of the country, that is north central and southern part. Now there was a new method introduced to rule over India. This was conceptualized by Lord Dalhousie. He was Governor General of India since 1848 to 1856. Under this concept, any Indian king which doesn't have any natural heir had to give away their territory to the Britishers. Due to this, they obtained a lot of territory amongst these. There were states of Satara acquired in 1848, state of Sambalpur in 1850, Udaipur in 1852 and Jhansi in 1857. Now they had control over very vast part of India, so in order to manage them, they were setting up new administration. Warren Hastings, Governor General of Bengal since 1773 to 1785, he took steps which would allow smooth managing of these states. What were they? He divided their administration into three presidencies: Bombay, Madras, and Bengal presidencies. Presidencies were the region which were divided and were headed by the senior officials who used to look after the administration of the region, tax collection, factories maintenance, etc. is the work managed by the senior officials. Please refer the map in the slide. First from the left is Bombay, second is Madras, and third is Bengal Presidency. After that, they codified laws. While administering, it's obvious there will be quarrels, etc. So what Britishers saw was that the people used to reach out to Hindu Pandits or Muslim Muftis as per their religion for the settlement. So Britishers tried reaching them and asked them if they can provide them their law so that they can codify and give more perfect justice to the people of India. So they established courts. There were two courts, Faujdari Adalat, that is criminal courts, and Diwani Adalat, that is civil courts. Next was they appointed officers in every state to collect revenue from peasants, zamindars, and residents. They were called collectors. Their responsibility was to collect revenue and maintain law and order in the country. All the revenue to the Britishers. Now they felt the need of their own fully fledged army in order to stay protected from enemies and trade rivals. They started recruiting Indians to their army, as it was not possible to appoint all Britishers in the army. So there were two types of soldiers, Sawar and Paidal. Sawar was soldiers battled riding a horse. Paidal soldiers used to fight walking on their feet. Soldiers were trained in archery and sword fighting. But things were changing. When new ideas, factories, goods were coming up in India, along with that, new war tactics also came with them. Now they started new warfare tactics, that is, using guns like matchlock, match the fire, and shoot. Along with those heavy guns were used during new warfare tactics. So Britishers felt the need of training their soldiers with new techniques and in new way. During training, Britishers imposed new disciplinary rules on soldiers which sometimes used to go against their community beliefs. For example, even if few things which were prohibited in the religion, the soldiers had to do because of disciplinary rules. Britishers wanted to create uniformity in the army, but this was creating discontent in Indians in the army against Britishers. This ultimately led to the mutiny of 1857. 1857 mutiny we will learn in next chapter. So the conclusion of the chapter is, as the title says, a company which entered India to trade finally gained power over the territories of India and became the ruler of the country. This is where the second chapter ends. So students, I hope you all have enjoyed the chapter. We'll send you third session with question and answers. Till then, bye. Take care.